All right, how are you feeling, Kat? Sorry, apologies about the delays. Hectic here.
You are all good. I'm feeling pretty okay.
All right, fair enough. Um, so you're our little secret HOH. How has that been for you? How's your reign going?
Um, I have very mixed feelings about it. I really did not want to be HOH first time around, and then I let my anxiety get the best of me, and I was like, in the event that I'm not HOH, I at least want to have made a good impression on everyone. And I think that worked for me. I don't know where I placed in everyone's list, but I'm HOH, so instead of worrying about potentially being a nom, I am doing the nomming, which I I have mixed feelings because it seems like I chose people who were more active that I wasn't seeing that activity on. And so like I had Logan come into our one-on-one immediately and was like, I can't believe VHH shows them. They're both really nice and they haven't done anything wrong. And I was like, but it's just like I still haven't told anyone and I don't plan on it just because that reaction alone, I'm like, this did not seem like a good like it was just a hard position to be in. So yeah.
All right, fair enough. So you ultimately did decide to nominate Kels and Will. So kind of why did you settle on these two people?
Like I said briefly, it was solely based on who I felt the most connected to. Will has not responded to my DM since the first night. And Kells, I felt bad knowing Kells because it was initially based on who I had connected the least with, and then Kells popped into our one-on-one like right before Noms, but I was like, I really don't have anyone else, maybe besides like Luca, because I also haven't heard that much from I think of them, if that's person's pronouns. I don't remember. And then I unfortunately realized that both of them are also well, all three of them are also have-nots, and I was like, "Oh, this is a double whammy for them on my end," and I did not realize that. But at the end of the day, it was just based on I barely heard from you guys, and that's what it came down to.
All right, fair enough. So let's talk about the espionage. So
Mhm.
you ended with the essential asset card, but you would win HOH anyways. But kind of did you learn anything from the twist? Have you talked to anyone kind of about the cards, or how's that been for you?
Let me look back. I still don't know what the cards mean, if I'm being honest with you, and I think everyone's confused about it. I have not talked with anyone about the cards just because I'm already on like high alert for HOH, and I don't accidentally want to give away any clues to like tip anyone off about that. And that's also why I chose to not do a nom speech because I was like, this could be very obvious for who it is in the event that I said something along the lines of like inactivity or we connected the least. I don't know. I also am very good at overthinking, and I was like, I want to lay low this week, and then I did the exact opposite of that by winning Age of Rage. Because now I feel like everyone's just like on guard, and I haven't really heard from that many people recently. But also, people have lives, so yeah. Can you also explain to me essentially what this card means?
Yes. So, as the essential asset, basically, you would have been immune from being assassinated this week. What an assassination is remains to be seen.
Oh, that's T. I thought it was the same lines as like evicted.
Oh no. So no, it has nothing to. Well, not directly, but we'll see. Things will come out in time.
That's
Um.
terrifying.
So, but with the whole anonymous HOH twist, how do you feel like that's impacted your reign? Do you feel like you would have still made the same decisions? Do you feel like things are harder or easier for you than if people knew who you were? So, how are you feeling about that?
I feel like the anonymity, if that's the word, how to pronounce it, I don't know. But I feel like that's helpful. It like I see both sides of it. Like it's helpful because no one knows that I did it unless I want to reveal it, but also no one knows, so everyone's going to be on guard. And if people are sussing me out, then I have to like choose my words very carefully. Like Sky had asked me almost immediately after Noms, "Oh, are you the secret HOH?" I froze so hard. I was like, "Oh my god. Am I really that obvious?" And then hopefully she isn't lying to me about it and being like, "I don't really know. I have no idea." But like, I don't know. I also feel like asking around kind of paints you as a target, and that was why I was like originally like I could have gone around asking people like, "Oh, if you were the secret HOH, who would you have chosen?" I don't know. I just overthink a lot, and my point being with this, like, I think being the first Anon HOH already adds to like it works in my favor because no one has to know it's me, but it also works against me because people could lose trust in me down the line if it does somehow come out and they're like, "Well, why didn't you tell me? We could have worked something out." And I'm like, "Babe, I have no idea what you do with that information and I don't want to risk my game this early on." And so it's just like it's a lot to think about. I do think that if I wasn't Anon, my nom still would have been the same. Pretty like honestly at this point it was funny because Avery when we were in the voice chat in the living room right after I'd gotten the message about it, Avery was like, "Oh yeah, like this is so interesting and we get to see how people go about this, like if they're gonna like how they're gonna do it with it being Anon." And I was like, little do you know, my friend." And that's kind of where I was like but long story short, I still would have kept the same noms. It just would have been I would have kept the same noms and I actually would have made a speech, but since it's Anon and I would rather not tell people just for my own game's sake. Yeah.
Right, fair enough. Um, so let's talk about the veto draw. So, as we saw, an anonymous hacker placed Justin to the comp, and to play alongside Kels and Will, and Jake, Zoe, and Nicole were also chosen. So, how are you feeling about the veto draw? Are there any outcomes you're wanting or not wanting to see? And with the way the twist is formatted this season, you as HOH are not competing in it. So, how are you feeling with that as well?
I think it's definitely a risk to not be playing in the veto because I have no idea how closely aligned people are already or if they already have like how they're feeling and just by Logan already telling me that at least he found it a little jarring that both Kells and Will were up. I I don't want I have such bad luck when it comes to me speaking anything into existence, but like I would want the noms to stay the same just so I don't have to go through renomming another house guest and having people be on high alert about it. I truly cannot predict what's going to happen. And it's also making me wonder if it was a good idea to keep this a secret from people. Like, I am very close well, like I've played with Justin before, so it's kind of funny seeing him be the person thrown in by the hacker. But I don't know. I still feel like my trust with all the house guests is not there for me to reveal this. And it's like it's not necessarily a bad thing that I'm the like again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but with veto and not being the one playing, I cannot control how these noms are going to go with whoever wins, which is what's terrifying. But at the end of the day, it's part of the game and I will choose to do what I want with being the HOH. So,
Makes sense. So, is there anyone you currently maybe have in mind if someone were to come down?
ugh, I I really hate to say it. Just like as I alluded to earlier, I think my only other option was gonna be Luca, just because we like I feel the least connected to him as well, and it just sucks that all three of them also ended up being have-nots this week. And I really don't wanna put another have-not in that situation. I just truly do not know who else I would nom who I have not spoken with as much. So, yeah.
Very interesting. And let's say, noms were to stay the same and it was, Kels and Will are the final nom. Do you feel like there's someone here you would prefer to see go?
Um, hmm, I feel like it might just solely it's hard to say just because I put them up for not talking with them as much, but it's like a double-edged sword because I also have not reached out to them as much since it happened. And like the biggest part of it is that this is a huge side note, but like the biggest part with my noms is that like I took that first step to reach out to you, and both of them have left me on red since. And so it's like truly, I don't really care who goes in this situation, just because I felt the least connected to both of them.
Right, fair enough. So you mentioned, you have kind of gotten close to some people. So who are you kind of scoping out right now for like potential allies moving forward since you won't be able, to play HOH? So yeah, so who are you kind of wanting to work with right now?
I feel like like I do really like Kira, Chloe, and Sky. I think they'd be good allies. I don't know. Like, I feel like I get along with them the most and I speak with them the most. And Zoe, like I speak with I think that's four people. I speak with them the most out of everyone, so I wouldn't mind working with them. I do think that like I also like Tyson and Jake when he does decide to talk. I also like a lot of people in the cast, and I wouldn't like if they came to me asking to work together, I would say yes. I also am very hesitant to ask people to work together just because word spreads very fast, and that was kind of why I was so reluctant to starting all the chats and look where we are now. So it's like I just feel like even if I'm working with them, you do not know what's going to happen with an Anon HOH reign. And so it's like I could be working with the right people, I could be working with the wrong people. How do I go about finding who's the best person to work with in this situation? What's going to happen? There's just a lot of to go into it.
All right, well, thank you, Kat. This is very informative. It's very
Yeah, of
informative. Do you have any
course.
final thoughts?
Um, this could just be like honestly, I know that I'm very prone to overthinking everything. So this raid was just not good for my anxiety, but it's definitely been a learning experience. And if anyone is rooting for me, thank you. I appreciate it. Also, question mark, I'm sorry, just because I have no idea what I'm doing with this, and I am probably one of the most chaotic and anxiety ridden players. So you're welcome for the entertainment.
All right, I'm sure they will be happy to. I'm sure that they're happy. Well, all right, Kat. Yeah, if you ever want to do another in the future, just let us know, and we'll prompt you guys as well, of course. So, yeah, I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.